Time now for our Sunday Group. Wall Street Journal White House reporter Annie Linsky, former communications director to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Mark Bednar, former Biden White House special assistant and director of message planning, Megan Hayes, and editor-in-chief of the Jewish Insider, Josh Kraushaar. Great to see all of you today. So let's start with Arctic frost. We find out that several members of the Senate, Republicans, and one House member, at least we know of, there was monitoring of their phone call records. Also, we found out that 92 GOP-connected groups or people, including late conservative Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk, targeted as well. That's in the New York Post. I want to play something that Democrat Senator Chris Coons had to say about the revelation.
If true, it is something I think urgently needs more investigation. Just on the surface of it would strike me as a significant invasion of the right of senators to conduct their jobs.
All right, Annie, we're just hearing about this, but there are now demands from these lawmakers for more information.
Yeah, the senators that I've talked to about this are furious. They feel that their communications with the president should be private. They don't like the idea of one branch of government investigating a different branch of government, particularly on a sort of political topic. And I think that this will go beyond just hearings in Congress. I think, I've talked to senators who have been interested in filing civil lawsuits against the phone carriers for so easily turning over that information.
All right, we're going to keep tracking that. But something that kind of pales and over everything else that's happening on Capitol Hill right now is, of course, the shutdown conversation. We talked to the two key players in the House, the Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, and the Speaker, Mike Johnson, moments ago. Here's a bit of what they had to say.
There's a variety of different challenges that we have with respect to this partisan Republican spending bill.
It's real pain for real people, and they seem not to care.
Mark, we didn't make any headway on getting this resolved today.
That's a great question. I mean, right now, it does not appear that there's any off-ramps for either side. I've been a part of several shutdowns, and what's very clear is whichever side appears least unreasonable, most sensible, they're the ones who are going to end up winning right now. And so what we heard from Leader Jeffries before, he has a lot of various demands about all sorts of spending deals that, that's not the same thing as let's just keep the government open, let's just keep negotiating. So based on those two interviews right now, it looks Speaker Johnson, he seems cool, collected, and calm, that Republicans can hold out here, and Democrats, they have to atone for this at some point.
Well, Megan, they feel good, though, about the optics. I mean, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is taking heat for saying every day gets better for us, but they really do feel like the polling shows and the consensus is they're going to be able to point the finger at Republicans for this.
I mean, to be honest, I think that they all should get back to work and get the government open. And the fact that Johnson has his members out again for a third week, it makes one wonder, why aren't they negotiating? Why aren't his caucuses here? Normally, a lot of the negotiations in a shutdown take place one layer under the leadership. If they're not in Washington, they're not negotiating. So right now, Democrats are here. They want to talk about getting the government open. They want to talk about lowering health care costs. So it looks a little bit unreasonable for Republicans not to be here to have those negotiations. And the American people do want lower health care costs, just like they want lower costs on groceries and housing. So Democrats have a lot of strength right now in these negotiations. And I think it'd be wise for the Republicans to have these negotiations, get the government open, and get health care spending lower.
Well, Josh, you heard, the Speaker said they voted. They did pass the CR. It's there. It maintains current levels for at least 7 weeks. He says there's no reason to negotiate. We gave you that.
And that's a very familiar argument. Keep the government open. Like health care, you may have your own demands, but you put that in a separate box. And I think that's a pretty effective argument. We've seen this in past shutdowns, that the party that's in the minority that's making demands usually doesn't have a whole lot of political leverage or political support. I mean, Democrats do believe health care is a winning issue, and that's why they're taking it to the brink like this. That's an open question. I get the sense that there's not a lot of urgency among the public. You look at the polling, and you actually see, as we've been talking about, people blaming both sides, and not a lot of urgency to get this done. I don't think we're going to see the shutdown end anytime soon.
All right, Annie, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think just both sides are pointing to their own polling, and their own polling is saying that they're right. So you just have two sides that are really dug in. But I do think at some point, yes, we are kind of in early days of this shutdown, and at some point that dynamic is going to change, because you can't have this go on for weeks and weeks.
Yeah, so that's where we are now. We'll check in next Sunday. Maybe it'll be over. In the meantime, the president is getting ready to head over to the Middle East. He's going to meet with the hostage families. We believe and the hostages, we believe they're going to be released within the next 24 hours or so. He's going to speak to the Knesset and then head on to Egypt, where he'll meet with a lot of the key players in what happens next, restoring the complete destruction in Gaza and moving forward. Here's an interesting note from the New York Times. They say Democrats are praising the Israel-Gaza peace deal, but not Trump for forging it. So, Megan, many of them issue statements, but they don't mention President Trump. They're excited, but they're not going to give him any credit.
I mean, we need to give credit where credit is due. His team has worked incredibly hard to get here, but I would caution that we have been here before. And I think that there's a lot more things that need to happen. Everyone is very cautiously optimistic, but I think that this summit in Egypt is really great to bring all of these Arab leaders to the table. There's a lot still to figure out. So I do think that everyone is cautiously optimistic to get these hostages home and to get peace.
We're going to get about 10 seconds each for our remaining panelists.
Nothing short of remarkable. President Trump deserves credit across the political spectrum. This is historic. It should be exciting for America and the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, just look. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner spoke at Hostage Square. Donald Trump was the most popular figure. He was applauded very, very loudly. So that tells you where the Israeli public is when it comes to this deal.
Yeah, I mean, President Trump stood up to Israel when that needed to happen. He stood up to Hamas and the Arabs when that needed to happen. Credit goes to President Trump on this.
Yeah, and we all watch as this delicate dance is done, hopefully getting to what everybody has been hoping and praying for. Thank you, panel. Great to see all of you. We'll see you again next Sunday. Coming up.